Good evening, everybody. Thanks for joining us here live at the Canad Inns Destination Center on Pembina Highway. We're inside the Tavern United. Thanks for joining us for the latest ASTV Sports Show. I'm your host, Theo Tutkalek, and what a great lineup we have for you this evening. We're going to start off with 3 of the 4 members of Team Zacharias who just got back from Grand Forks, a little bit of gold medal wear, if you will. We also have Eugene Kaminski, who is the head coach of the Winnipeg Ice AAA Female hockey team, and their success they've had at the beginning of this season. Up as well will be a gentleman to discuss the United Boxing Affair, Melee number 7, and Mr. Johnson. He'll be talking to us with regards to the wonderful event that was held at the Met last weekend. And last but not least, Wes Anders from 3-on-3 Basketball Manitoba. They're going to discuss their recent tournament that's coming up here in Edmonton this weekend. So stick around. Thanks for joining us, and we'll be right back with some curling action right after this.
If you take the first mortgage you're offered, a high interest rate could take your travel budget and send it packing. Before you choose a mortgage, take a second look. Get serious about your mortgage. Contact Case Financial Group today. If you take the biggest mortgage you can get, you might find your budget can't support other important costs, like buying furniture. Don't let your mortgage weigh you down. Get serious about your mortgage. Contact Case Financial Group today.
Hi, I'm Nettie Weiss from Metalmaster. You had an accident? Sometimes they're embarrassing, but they're always inconvenient. We have an incredible staff to take care of you. We have platinum certified techs in 4 different categories. We are certified as a gold class accredited shop. If you've made a claim already, perfect. Call us with your claim number. If you need a claim opened, give us a call. We'll walk you through it. Sometimes you can get a little nervous dealing with MPI. We'll help you out. Metalmaster Auto Body. We'll straighten it out.
If you take the first mortgage you're offered, a high interest rate could take your travel budget and send it packing. Before you choose a mortgage, take a second look. Get serious about your mortgage. Contact Case Financial Group today. If you take the biggest mortgage you can get, you might find your budget can't support other important costs, like buying furniture. Don't let your mortgage weigh you down. Get serious about your mortgage. Contact Case Financial Group today.
Thank you for coming back and joining us with the ASTV Sports Show here in Tavern United on Pembina Highway. Joining me now are 3 lovely ladies. We're missing one, but she's got an exam apparently, correct?
Yeah, she's in classes.
She's in classes, okay. Yeah. So who do we have with us from Team Zacharias?
So I'm Carly Burgess, and I'm the 3rd, and I'm actually from Nova Scotia.
Very good.
I'm Mackenzie Zacharias, and I play skip on the team.
I'm Emily Zacharias, and I play 2nd, and we're both actually originally from Altona.
So we have the 2, are you sisters?
We are, yeah.
So that's the reason why the name is named after you. Plus you're the skip, right?
It's actually named after the skip. Whoever plays skip then gets it named after them.
All right,
yeah.
So that's skip. So we represent Altona, we represent Nova Scotia. Who's the missing 4th?
Lauren Lenentine, and she's actually from PEI.
So we have a PEI, we have a Nova Scotia, and 2 Altonas.
Yeah.
How did all 4 of you meet?
Actually, last year at Nationals, all of us were participating at Nationals. 2 of us from Nova Scotia, and then from Manitoba. And Lauren and I were both looking for a team in the next year for my last junior year, so I kind of reached out to the girls up here, and we both made our way here to curl with them. So, yeah.
Are you 2 okay with that?
Yeah, I mean, we're definitely okay with that. They're pretty good. So.
They're pretty good. The standings this early in the season prove that as well. Sitting atop of the MJCT, which stands for the Manitoba Junior Curling Tour.
Yeah.
Tell us how that works through the course of this season for you.
So how that works, it actually starts in like January or February of last year, and from then on until about November, we can accumulate points through playing in different events. And the top 10 teams that have the highest points after that all get to play in end of the year Bonspiel. That's worth just a lot of money, and it's worth a burst spot as well.
So it's a calendar year, not a school year.
Yeah.
Okay, so started last January. You're sitting atop. How many more events do we have before this season closes out?
We're actually just getting started. Hopefully we can continue until April would be the goal. But we have provincials in December, and then if we are successful, we have nationals in January, if we are successful there, we can continue on. But right now, we're just kind of taking it one weekend at a time because it's still kind of early for us.
That's such a professional answer, just taking it 1 week at a time. The good Lord willing, things will work out. They worked out very well for all four of you down in Grand Forks.
Yep.
Unbeaten, correct?
Yeah.
All the way to the final. How was that trip for you? One day we had 2 games and then semifinals and finals, right?
Yeah.
So who did you face in the finals, and was that nerve-wracking for you, or were you all ready for it?
I mean, we played Grace Beaudry in the final, and we'd played them actually already once in the season, so we knew how to go at them, and we'd studied, their mechanics and how to play them, and so we felt really prepared going into the final, and we just played to our abilities, and it worked out really well.
So what was the final score?
Oh boy.
Oh boy. It's a victory.
Yeah.
Yes.
It was, yeah.
So how many points do you get for the victory of the whole tournament? Do you know?
I don't know. It changes for every event depending
Okay.
on how many teams there are. So, yeah, I'm not exactly
It was
sure.
enough to put us on top.
Yeah.
Right. So it's a little bit interesting because, I mean, you look at the MJCT and how the points work and how you just got to win, right?
Yeah.
If you just got to win out, the more win outs you have, the chances of you being on top is going to be pretty favorable, right?
Yeah.
I have to ask all three of you, how did you start curling? I mean, why curling? Like, it's a great sport, don't get me wrong. I love watching it. I love doing a lot of other things while I watch curling. But why curling for the three of you?
For me, I guess it started just with my family. My great-great-grandfather actually started in the family, and everyone in the family continued to grow and become in the sport. So, yeah, my parents curled, my brother curled, my grandparents curled, so it was in my blood, I guess.
For yourself, ladies?
For me, I don't, probably the same for
Yeah,
you.
same.
Where our grandpa was really into curling, and my dad as well, and they kind of started us off as soon as they could, as soon as we were old enough for the junior program, and just we really enjoyed it, and
Yeah.
just kept going from there.
Yeah, and our dad actually, he was the head of the curling program, the junior program in Altona, so then he kind of took us with him, and we just went with him and curled.
It just seemed natural
Yeah.
to put on a slider, put on some funky shoes, throw the corn broom aside and grab a real one, and start curling, right?
Yeah.
See, when I started, I remember corn brooms and the infamous, you can't use them on the ice because they take the pebble away or they leave debris on the ice. So no corn brooms are allowed, right?
Just for sliding now.
Just for sliding now. Okay, so what type of brooms are used otherwise?
Well, we use all synthetic carbon fiber brooms that we get from our sponsors, Asham Curling, and they're really nice and they work really well.
Fabulous. So how has the sport evolved since you started? Let's talk about that because a lot of rules have changed. We'll get to that later, but for yourselves, ladies, how has the sport changed from when you started to where you are today?
There's so much that has changed. I've been curling for about 13 years now, and it's just so much more competitive. There's so many more rules. I know that the broom was such an issue a few years ago about it causing to not curl or whatnot. So it's really become more competitive, and a lot more money has gotten into the sport that way too. But yeah,
Just change in shots, change in strategy, the development of the tick shot.
the 5-rock rule.
Okay, so let's talk about the tick shot. What's a tick shot?
So a tick shot is when you have a rock in the free guard zone, so above the rings. And since you can't peel yet with the rocks, so a way to remove it from the center line to open up your scoring space would be to play a soft weight shot to tick it off to the corners.
So it's like a bump and run, but it still stays in play.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
you can't remove that stone.
You can't remove that stone. Which leads me to my next question. Is there a certain number of rocks that need to be left in play through each end?
Yeah, so it used to be the 4-rock rule, and now there's the 5-rock rule. So the first 5 rocks of the game, or the end, every end, if they're in the free guard zone, you can't touch them until after the 5th rock.
So what if they're inside the 8-foot? Can you move them?
Then they're completely fine, yeah.
Okay, so I got to learn this stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so we got the tick shot, we got the 5-rock rule. How many ends do we play? 6, 8?
Usually 8.
Okay.
But for provincial and national events, it's usually around 10.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then if it's tied, you go to extra ends, of course.
Right.
Do you have a shoot off if it goes after that or no?
No, it's just extra ends.
Okay.
Yeah.
How do you decide who is the hammer in the first end?
Usually there's a pregame practice, and you do it at the end of the practice. You do a draw to the button, and whoever's closest gets hammer in the first end. But if there's no pregame practice, then it's just a flip of the coin.
Okay, would you rather have the shoot off or would you rather have the flip?
Oh,
Shoot
pregame
off.
practice.
Shoot off. So all three of you are pretty good finding the button?
Well, she always does it,
Yeah.
so we rely on her, but she's pretty good.
That's fantastic to have. There, good props to the skip there, absolutely. It's always difficult. Do you find on different surfaces, I mean, you have to practice a lot. The game has evolved so much. I mean, you talk about following strategy and watching the other teams play and managing what the ice does for you. I mean, if you're like a sheet 4 on an 8-foot on 8 sheets or sheet 1, does the rock actually move that much different on each sheet for you when you're playing, or do you know what that rink is going to do for you? How do you test that?
Yeah, it usually is a lot of trial and error, especially when we don't know the rink. And especially at the beginning of the game too, often it's frosty at the beginning, so you have to throw a couple of rocks down each path to get it like up to speed and faster. And some ice rinks, they curl a little bit more, and some curl a bit less, and it can actually change based on the sheet too. So there's like different paths on the ice, and you just gotta try to remember what's what.
And even lately, like the weather can have a lot of impact on the ice as well. It's been really humid, so that has an effect. And day to day, it's different, and every rink is different as well.
I mean, humidity you mentioned for sure. Weather, number 2. If you're first on the ice at 8 a.m. and you're the last one to play at 6, there's a lot more rocks, there's a lot more brooms, a lot more feet going on it. Would you rather play first thing in the morning or last thing in the evening?
I mean, it depends on when the ice has been scraped, because when they do a total rescrape, then the ice is usually pretty good. So it depends on how far you are from the time they've done that.
Yeah.
If it's a few draws after they've done that, then it's pretty bad. But if it's right after they've done that, then it's usually really good.
Right.
So I know that Skip gets the last 2 rocks. There's got to be build-up before that. So I have to ask all 3 of you, do you remember like your best shot from this past weekend in Grand Forks? And can you explain it perhaps? I mean, like there's a bump run, there's a double takeout, do you remember like do you remember a shot?
Nice run.
Probably. Carly can throw a lot of weight.
Carly likes throwing. Okay, so it's like a second hammer, but not the end of the.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. It clears the house pretty nice. But there was this one game. I think we were down a couple points, and we had an out-turn angle run back for 3, and Lauren called the right line because she's the one who calls the line when I throw, and the girls swept it really good, and we were able to make it. So that's pretty
awesome.
exciting.
See, that's exciting. That's what I like to hear.
That
Like,
was exciting.
how did that? What did you say? East eye right triple slot. What was that shot again? Double takeout.
It was an angle run back for 3.
Angle run back for 3.
Run
Out
back
turn with no slips. We're good.
No slips.
Awesome. Who has the loudest voice of the 4 of you?
I think you would.
Well, yeah.
I yell the most.
You yell the most. You direct traffic. You got to let people know what's going on
Yeah.
and help explain to your teammates. Now, does it hurt your feelings when she yells really loud?
Yeah.
As
No,
a sister?
I'm kidding. No, not at all. It's good when she yells at me.
Okay, so you take that as constructive criticism
For sure.
to get to the victory after the ends.
Yeah.
Okay. Have you ever clearly missed a shot with all the weight and just said, oops, I just missed that one?
Yeah, that happens.
It happens once in a while, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I think of my shuffleboard days, and I've done that a couple times. I'm like, yeah, thank God I've got a second rock to play with. But ladies, you guys are pretty on point, especially with how you did in Grand Forks. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Did they give you any hardware or anything like that?
You got some cash.
Yeah.
Got some cash.
That's good.
Cash is king. Cash equals hardware, okay.
Yeah.
So what's the next tournament for the 4 of you?
This next weekend we have another MJCT. It's in St. Vital, and it's for provincial berth, and there's a little bit of money on the line as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're all set for that? Any practice beforehand?
Yeah, for sure. We were on the ice today, a few hours ago practicing,
Okay.
and then tomorrow again.
And Wednesday.
Wednesday
Yeah.
again.
So where is your home rink then? Is it in Altona or is it in Winnipeg?
It is, but lately we've been practicing at the Granite because nobody else really has that much ice right now.
Yeah.
So after September, though, we'll see where we can find ice in Winnipeg, and then also occasionally practice in Altona.
Awesome. So I'm going to leave you one last question. Student athletes, managing the athletic portion and then the academics, how have you been able to do that so well and excelling in both?
So I'm in my 4th year university now. I'm a kinesiology student, so I've been curling really competitively and doing school as well. I've been a full-time student the whole time, and I really agree with that, and I really believe in the balance of sport and athletic and school. I guess it just gets me to do something outside of school as well. A little stress reliever, and I get to have some fun with the girls, so I really enjoy it.
And ladies, what grade year are you in for university?
Yeah, I'm in my 3rd year of kinesiology. You'll notice that we're almost all in kinesiology except for Lauren, but Yeah, it's been tough sometimes, but it's also really good, and I really enjoy it. And with curling, I feel like it balances itself out pretty nicely.
So you kinesiology as well?
I'm in kinesiology.
Third year as well?
Yeah, first year.
First year, okay.
First year, so just trying to figure it out and learn the reins a little bit, but it's definitely, I wouldn't give up curling in a heartbeat for it. It's good balance and just figuring it out, but
absolutely, you need good balance on the ice.
Yeah.
I can definitely understand being biomechanics aficionados, soon to be, I mean, groin pulls and whatnot, slipping on the ice could definitely be a travesty to your playing on the ice, correct?
Yeah, it can be.
It can hurt a little bit, yeah. I've done a couple of slips. It's not fun. It hurts a little bit. I want to thank you ladies very much for joining me. And one more question before I leave you. The 2 game as opposed to the 4 game. If you had to play 2, would you? Or do you enjoy more the 4 game?
Like, are you thinking the mixed doubles?
Yes, the mixed,
Right, okay.
I'm talking about, mixed doubles. The 2 versus the 4, yeah.
Well, I really enjoy like the team events because it's a little bit more competitive. Right now, I guess mixed doubles is up on the rise, and there's a lot more events coming for it. But it's definitely 2 different games completely. I haven't got really comfortable with the mixed doubles yet, but for now, I'm just sticking with the team. So yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun to try and to try out and see how different things work and stuff like that. Definitely more of a fan of the team, just because of the competitiveness and everything like that. But it's a lot of fun to play.
yeah, same for me. Like, I haven't had a lot of experience with mixed doubles, but I find it really enjoyable, just really different, and trying to figure it all out. But yeah, just the 4 right now is working well.
The teamwork makes the dream work with Team Zacharias. Coming back with a little bit of cash in Grand Forks, and maybe some more this weekend in St. Vital at the curling club there. If you want to wish them luck, do go and join them. Check them out on Twitter. Team Zacharias, correct?
Yeah.
Yep.
And they have wonderful, great stories. We didn't talk about the Blue Moose. We'll leave that one for next time. We'll be right back with Eugene Kaminski and the Winnipeg Ice AAA Female hockey team right after this.
If you take the first mortgage you're offered, a high interest rate could take your travel budget and send it packing. Before you choose a mortgage, take a second look. Get serious about your mortgage. Contact Case Financial Group today. If you take the biggest mortgage you can get, you might find your budget can't support other important costs, like buying furniture. Don't let your mortgage weigh you down. Get serious about your mortgage. Contact Case Financial Group today.
Eat.
Meet.
Stay.
Canad Inns destination centers are your home for hospitality, with 10 locations in Manitoba and 1 in North Dakota, featuring the finest in accommodations, food and beverage, entertainment, banquet and conference facilities, and so much more. For the best service and best value, your only stop is Canad Inns. Call today at 1-888-33-CANAD or visit us right now at canadinns.com.
Hi, I'm Nettie Weiss from Metalmaster. You had an accident? Sometimes they're embarrassing, but they're always inconvenient. We have an incredible staff to take care of you. We have platinum certified techs in 4 different categories. We are certified as a gold class accredited shop. If you've made a claim already, perfect. Call us with your claim number. If you need a claim opened, give us a call. We'll walk you through it. Sometimes you can get a little nervous dealing with NPI. We'll help you out. Metalmaster Auto Body. We'll straighten it out.
We're back here in the Tavern United on Pembina Highway, Canad Inns destination, ASTV Sports Show with Theo. Just to let you know that some of the games for the Team Zacharias team will be on ASTV later on throughout the season. So we'll have some of their great action, their wonderful haulers, and some of their victories, we hope, as the season progresses. Joining me now is the head coach of the Winnipeg Ice AAA Female hockey team.
That's right.
Say that 5 times fast. Eugene Kaminski. I love the uni. I love the logo. How are we doing this evening?
Doing great. We've had a great weekend, so I'm in a good mood right now.
Absolutely. You guys went 3-0-1 this past weekend.
That's correct.
And we'll get to some of the players later on. A little bit about yourself, Eugene, if you don't mind me asking. You have a bit of a background and a bit of history with high school hockey and women's program, starting at Shaftesbury, correct, and then transferring the boys team to the men's team or the females team. How does that represent your background and accolades to be that great role model for some of these players?
Yeah, I started at Shaftesbury, and we had the boys high school team that we coached there for a long time. And then about 2012, I switched over to Shaftesbury. They had the prep female hockey team that went there. And we had that for 4 years, and it was very successful. We had a lot of success with a lot of girls going on to play college and at USA and Canadian schools. And then transitioned back into the AAA program right now. We did Bantams for a couple of years and did the AAA program. And Hockey Winnipeg at that point realized that there's a lot of talent out there of hockey players, and they felt there was another need for another AAA team in Winnipeg. So I give a lot of credit to the likes of Pam Campbell, who spearheaded that, and now they're seeing a lot of success from both teams, the Avros and the Winnipeg Ice in Winnipeg.
Absolutely. And you also have another Kaminski on the coaching staff, correct?
Yeah, that's my daughter.
She's got a bit of a history as well when it comes through playing in the college ranks and being a great resource and a role model for these females coming through high school.
It's really important to have that mentor and role model that the girls can see that they've seen success from someone right firsthand. And she won an SO Cup with Pembina Valley in 2012. So she's been there, and she's going to be able to give a lot of those girls experience. And she's even given me some opportunities to learn from that, because she knows what went behind the scenes for their AAA team to be successful. And then obviously she went on to play Division I hockey in New York at Union College, and so she brings that to the table, and she's a great resource for the girls. They can ask her questions about what it takes to be ready for the games, not just on the ice or in practices, but what you need to do before that and that mindset. And so yeah, she's a huge resource, and I'm very proud to have her on the bench with me, and it's great being able to have those same victories. Sometimes we don't see eye to eye all the time, but you know, it seems to be working out right now.
Family turmoil is okay as long as it's competitive and it works to the advantage of the players. I'm okay with it, right?
Oh, absolutely, and it works out for the players, and sometimes not so much for our other assistant coach, Nicole Leslie, because she sometimes has to break the tie, and she's reluctant to do so at times.
Unfortunately, she has to be put in the middle, but that's okay. Let's talk about this past week. It was a preseason weekend showcase.
Central Plains had their. They've done this for many years now, where they have a showcase weekend where they bring in a lot of teams, and college scouts come in to watch the teams, and it's a great opportunity for the beginning of the season to get your legs going, because we only had one exhibition game prior to this, and our practices. So to be able to play against some really good teams is really important early on to get your feet wet, and for us as coaches to see what we have and see what we need to do. So we changed things around quite a bit during this weekend, and saw some success in some things and saw some success that didn't work out. So no, it was a good weekend for us. We were very successful.
There's always going to be chalk talk throughout the season, correct? And you always got improvements to happen. So let's talk about putting together this roster. A lot of people may not be familiar with how the AAA program gets their rosters put together. Can you explain a little bit how that works?
So the basic premise last spring, late May, early June, they have a tryout for the city, and those are all the city players that want to play for AAA. And between myself, Winnipeg Ice, and Ashley at the Avros, our coaching staffs will get down and we'll basically draft players. Now we get to keep the players that we had last year, and then we just select the new players and based on a draft. So last year, because Avros finished first and we finished fourth, they were the higher seed. So we got to pick first, and then it just alternated back and forth. And so that's the basic premise.
So it's good that you get to keep your last year players as a bit of like a veteranship for the rookies or for the added players. One of those players last year was Rookie of the Year.
Yeah.
And Jay is her nickname, Julia Bird.
Yeah, I call her Jules sometimes.
You call her Jules? Okay, she has another nickname too. She had 55 points last year. Fantastic year as a rookie.
Even when I'll be honest with you, I forgot that number, but it's amazing what I saw from what she was able to do last year. And those points, a majority of those points came on the back 3 quarters of the season, because when we started our first 7 games, we only had 1 win. We weren't being very successful, and a lot of our players weren't getting a lot of points. But Julia, to her credit, I knew she was talented, but I don't think I recognized or believed that she would be that able to score that much in that season. She had great line mates with Kate Stewart and Reagan Udall, and that line was a dominant line throughout the AAA season last year. But she finished, I think, third in scoring for someone who's in her first year in grade 10, which is a remarkable feat. Remarkable in her case. And she set her bar very high, and she's looking to try to improve upon that. I don't know if she can, but she's looking to do that.
A great second-year player to have in the organization for sure, and the role model being, like you said, now she's in her junior year, grade 11, right? So she still has one more year to play perhaps afterwards if she wants
absolutely.
to. So
I hope she does play after that, because if she doesn't, we might be in trouble.
Jules, Eugene's saying we got to get you for 2 more years. Just letting you know if you're watching. Let's talk about another veteran in Liz Coleman. I mean, she takes the back end, and she's the dominant defenseman, correct?
Yeah. Well, her and Sid Bird, they were our shutdown pairing last year. Yeah. The interesting thing about Liz was when she first tried out in grade 10, and they only had the Avros at that point, she was not selected by the Avros at that point, and she wasn't selected by any AAA at that point. So in her grade 10 years, she played AA hockey. And so when the ice came in, we recognized and we wanted her on our team, so we selected her as one of the players on our team. And her development was really quick, that we could see that she was growing. And along with Sid Bird, they became a very dominant pairing in the whole AAA league. And Lizzie has just gotten better. And I watched this week, and the things that she was doing to evade and create her own space, help out players by making the right play, right decision, right pass. She's that type of player that makes other players better. She makes you look good.
And having a plus-minus at plus 24 last year, leading the team, showing her valiant efforts, being recognized on the ice with her defense partners, truly remarkable, especially with the amount of turmoil you had at the beginning of last season.
Yep.
And how well you finishing fourth.
Absolutely. And Liz, again, it's a remarkable story. This is a girl that wasn't selected for any AAA team in grade 10, and now she's playing for the provincial U18 team.
Yeah. And Julia as well.
Yes. Absolutely. That's incredible, and that's a huge credit to Liz and the hard work that she puts in on the ice, and many of them do on that team. And I'll be honest with you, it makes our lives a lot easier as a coaching staff with the players that we have. Sometimes it's a matter of just opening the gate and letting them go. We don't have to do any thinking, which sometimes is very beneficial for me.
Sure.
But they work so hard. We're successful that way, and they feed off each other that way. They see the likes of Liz, Sid, Julia, and many other girls on our team that are working hard. They have no choice but to work hard, or they get left behind.
Yeah. So 3-0-1, 20 goals for, 4 against only throughout the weekend. Pretty remarkable stuff.
Very proud of that.
What have you liked so far in that showcase weekend from the ice?
You know what? I was really interested to see, because we got a couple of new players in our program, Juliana Duma and Lexi Woodward, that came in. And I was interested to see how they were going to fit in, because they're very talented individuals. And I was very happy to see that they were able to produce like we were hoping they were able to do. We had our goalie, Rylan Loeppky, who's new to our program this year. I had her when I coached the Bantam team for the AA Twins, and we won provincials that year, so I knew what she brought to the table, but I wasn't too sure if she was going to be able to play. I know she played AAA last year with Interlake, but she showed that she's just a remarkable goalie that we're very excited to have in our program. But I think overall is that what I really enjoyed about this weekend is our team, every shift they battled and they worked hard. There was no letdown. And it wasn't like we were trying to run up the score or anything, but I didn't want them to get any bad habits. And I says, we go hard, and they did. So there's many nice positive things that we saw out of this weekend for sure.
Awesome. So the commitment to battling, commitment to competing on the ice.
Yeah.
You being a teacher.
Yeah.
The commitment to the education and the academics off the ice. I mean, I look at this roster and I see players from Bruns, I see players from St. Mary's, I see players from outside of Winnipeg as well, making the efforts to play in the city here. How do you, as a teacher, want to create a balance between athletics and academics for these high school AAA players?
I'm a huge proponent I always view them as student athletes, and student being the first word and athlete being second. And so I'm fortunate that being a teacher, being a math teacher, when we're on the road, I'm able to find time together. We do study halls together, and we work with them, and we'll find the time. The girls are always, they were very good last year when we were on the road, taking the time to study and prepare. And I recognize there's a huge time commitment on their part. Like, they have hockey, they have school life, they have their academics, and they have to have a social life. And I feel it's really important as coaches of whatever sport you're doing, you have to find a way to help them balance that. If you make them focus on one aspect of that, just the hockey, I don't think you're going to make an all-around player or an all-around person for that matter. I think parents appreciate that. I respect the family, I respect the school. I say to the girls, if you have to miss for any of those reasons, I'm okay with that. Those are your priorities. Okay. And then after that, we can have a discussion.
So we have those discussions throughout the year. Who makes the schedule? Is it you, the head coach, that makes the schedule for the players on and off the ice? I mean, there's off-ice training, there's on-ice training, there's different bonding programs, and I mean, like, not bonding in that way, like bonding techniques and chemistry building activities for the players. How are you able to balance that schedule, knowing that these players are being pulled in 4 or 5 different directions every day?
It's hard, and there are no doubt, I know, even the dry land, they have a dry land tomorrow, and throughout the year they're going to miss because some will have to have a test, and some of these girls are working as well. I find priorities on certain things, and I don't want to say I'm more flexible early on in the season, but I'm more accommodating in the sense that if they have to miss a practice, they have to miss a dry land because of work, because of school, I'm okay with that. The girls know from last year that when we get closer to playoffs, then you got to clear your slate. Okay, you got to give me that full month of time commitment. We need that because the season's a long season. Like, so we started late August, and the hope is that we will go into March. That's a long time.
That's playoffs, right?
And that's playoffs.
How many games are we playing in a regular season then?
We had 28 regular season games, and so we're roughly playing 1 to 2 games a week.
Yeah.
Typically on the weekends. So again, you're a Friday night, Saturday type game, or a Saturday, Sunday type game, and if we're on the road doing a game in Hartney, and then we have to stay overnight, so we have to go play in Shoal Lake the next day. So that's a 2 days commitment on their part.
Yeah.
So they have to sacrifice that, which is, for me, I find remarkable that a lot of these kids and families are prepared to make that sacrifice. And so I have to be understanding to that. Our coaching staff has to be understanding of that because they're giving up a lot of their teenage life so they can play competitive hockey.
Right on. So the regular season is fairly substantial. Is there outside games as well and showcases done throughout the year as well?
Yeah, we have quite a few tournaments. We'll be going to Ontario twice this year, in Brampton and Etobicoke, to play in events down there. Again, those are opportunities to showcase some of the girls to a lot of the Canadian colleges. And then we have local showcases here. There's a sports school challenge in Winnipeg. The Hockey Manitoba puts on an event that showcases people. So yeah, again, they're going to get a lot of hockey in. I'm sure by the end of the time everything is said and done, we'll be close to 50, maybe even 60 games when everything is said and done.
So I'm going to ask you this personal question. I'm going to go back to your daughter for a second. When your daughter was playing, how were you able to separate being a dad and being a coach? And also, what advice has she given you that has made you a better coach now?
I don't know. It was easy for me to separate because I was a coach, and I know what the coaches had to deal with. And when you're living in the rural areas and you're an hour and a half drive back from a game, it's sometimes you want to have a conversation. Sometimes you have to know not to have the conversation.
Do I know that one too, man? You know when it's a quiet truck ride home, you're waiting for that bomb to get unleashed. Or you're waiting to say, okay, good job, good game.
Well, and that's part of it. Yep. And being a teacher and understanding, I'm a high school teacher, so I understand the adolescence to that aspect. And I know Jess is pretty good. I could read her pretty well. She wasn't much of a talker or that. Like, she wanted to play her game, and she definitely didn't want any advice from me. And I'd throw little snippets here and there, and some she took and some she disregarded, and that's fine. And she was a fantastic hockey player, so I wasn't going to argue with that. One of the pieces that she's given me, and because she manages the forwards and she does a fantastic job with the forwards on the front end bench, she can run those lines fabulously. I don't have to worry about anything. she brought some of the college experience, and we're still between the two of us still balancing that a little bit, because I'm trying to explain to her this is not college, where sometimes that she would say, like, we should just, you know, play these girls, and I'm a big proponent of we got to play everybody, and we're not going to make a lot of those changes until we get close to playoffs. But she's great at recognizing who plays well together. Like, she will say, and that's been bane of most of our arguments, is that she wants to switch lines and I don't want to switch lines, or I want to switch lines and she doesn't want to. But a lot of times she's very stubborn, and more times than not she'll get her way, and I have to admit, more times than not she's right.
As a hockey coach as well, I've always had that difficulty telling parents and other players who's playing, who's not playing, and balancing ice time. And I've always said it, you know, when a push comes to shove, you never know what situation's going to happen when you need that third line out there, or you need that first line to get going. You got to learn those situations throughout the regular season to make sure that you're ready for those situations to happen. And if everybody's ready to go, then you know what? You have no worries about who's stepping out on the ice next. And some parents would get it, some players would get it.
Well, I've been on both sides of the glass.
Right.
So, and as you probably are aware as well, is that you see what's going on, and I understand that these are still kids. They're 15, 16, 17, and soon to be 18-year-old people. They have families. They want to make their parents proud of them, and they want to have those opportunities. And that's part of what we do. As long as it's AAA and it's highly competitive, I'm very fortunate with this team. Like you said, you mentioned first, second, third line. We really don't go down that road too much, because all three lines we have, all three pairings we have been very effective for us. And each one is different in its own way, which is difficult for other teams to coach against, because we don't have one style or system. We don't play with a system. We just play hard. Okay. So awesome.
Well, that's great news, Eugene. I want to thank you very much for joining us. Regular season starts when for the Ice?
This coming Saturday. We're at home opening up against Yellowhead.
So where is the home rink for the Ice too now?
At the Iceplex.
So it's the Iceplex. Okay, so Yellowhead versus the Ice this Saturday. Do you have a time? I'm putting you on the spot.
I looked the day before, but I'm pretty sure it's a 7 o'clock start.
7 o'clock start. MFMHL, Manitoba Female Midget Hockey League. Check out the website. Google it if you need to find out the scores, the standings, the stats. I want to thank you very much, Eugene, for shedding some light on this. This is awesome.
I want to thank you guys for showing a lot of interest in the league and interest in the team, so thank you very much.
Right on. You know what? Female hockey is definitely on the rise.
Oh, it is.
And the sportsmanship and the camaraderie that is built amongst the student-athlete body here, both females and males now, is extremely impressive. Yeah. And it only goes to show what they've done on the ice in their professional years as well. So, Eugene, I want to thank you very much again. This has been Theo with ASTV. We'll be right back right after a short commercial break.
If you take the first mortgage you're offered, a high interest rate could take your travel budget and send it packing. Before you choose a mortgage, take a second look. Get serious about your mortgage. Contact Case Financial Group today. If you take the biggest mortgage you can get, you might find your budget can't support other important costs, like buying furniture. Don't let your mortgage weigh you down. Get serious about your mortgage. Contact Case Financial Group today.
Hi, I'm Nettie Weiss from Metalmaster. You had an accident? Sometimes they're embarrassing, but they're always inconvenient. We have an incredible staff to take care of you. We have platinum certified techs in 4 different categories. We are certified as a gold class accredited shop. If you've made a claim already, perfect. Call us with your claim number. If you need a claim opened, give us a call. We'll walk you through it. Sometimes you can get a little nervous dealing with NPI. We'll help you out. From Metalmaster Auto Body, we'll straighten it out.
Eat.
Meet.
Stay.
Canad Inns Destination Centers are your home for hospitality, with 10 locations in Manitoba and 1 in North Dakota, featuring the finest in accommodations, food and beverage, entertainment, banquet and conference facilities, and so much more. For the best service and best value, your only stop is Canad Inns. Call today at 1-888-33-CANAD or visit us right now at canadinns.com.
Hi, I'm Nettie Weiss from Metalmaster. You had an accident? Sometimes they're embarrassing, but they're always inconvenient. We have an incredible staff to take care of you. We have platinum certified techs in 4 different categories. We are certified as a gold class accredited shop. If you've made a claim already, perfect. Call us with your claim number. If you need a claim opened, give us a call. We'll walk you through it. Sometimes you can get a little nervous dealing with MPI. We'll help you out. From Metalmaster Auto Body, we'll straighten it out.
If you take the first mortgage you're offered, a high interest rate could take your travel budget and send it packing. Before you choose a mortgage, take a second look. Get serious about your mortgage. Contact Case Financial Group today. If you take the biggest mortgage you can get, you might find your budget can't support other important costs, like buying furniture. Don't let your mortgage weigh you down. Get serious about your mortgage. Contact Case Financial Group today.
Theo here with ASTV and the Amateur Sports Television Sports Show. Joining me now, a guest who you had a chance to talk to earlier in the spring, I believe, 3-on-3 basketball star here from Manitoba, Wyatt Anders. Wyatt, thanks for joining us again on the show.
Thank you for having me.
How has the summer been for you, training-wise and playing-wise, with the 3-on-3?
It's been great. Luckily, we're sponsored by Acceleration Performance, so our conditioning's top-notch, and we've been able to beat teams just by being in better shape and better team.
So let's talk about that, because people think like 3-on-3, being in shape, what does that mean compared to a 5-on-5 game?
A lot of people like to compare it to MMA in the sense of it's a 10-minute game, really quick speed, so kind of like a 10-minute fight. The reason people don't understand it yet is because people play the checkup style, like the old school slow it down. If anyone's interested, they can come by and we can work out the game and they can see how hard it is on the conditioning.
Absolutely. Like I watch about 3-on-3 ice cube style, but that's
too slow.
That's see, that's the thing. Like you look at that type of game with those ex-pros, and I'm assuming you guys are, for lack of a better term, almost cutthroat. Because as soon as you get the ball, it's a quick return, quick advance, back into the key and points.
Exactly.
Because you only have 10 minutes to play, right?
Yep.
And you got to make sure your endurance, your agility, and your quickness is top-notch.
Yeah, and the referees have an emphasis of speeding up the game. So if you have to tie your shoe, you get subbed out. We need the game to keep going.
So how many guys are on your team currently?
We have a 6-man roster, but 4 people go to tournaments because that's all you're allowed.
Okay, so who are the 4 heading to Edmonton this weekend?
There's myself, Jelaine Price, who's from Toronto, that played Team Canada with me. Stephen Wesley from Spokane, Washington, played University of Winnipeg. And Ayub, who played in Manitoba and played in the States for his university career.
Okay, so the 4 of you are heading to Edmonton this weekend. This is another international tournament, correct?
Correct.
So how many teams are going to be slotted in there? How many come out on top?
16 teams. Top 2 get $20,000 for first, $10,000 for second, and top 2 go to China to play the best in the world.
Wow. That's pretty substantial. You're looking forward to it?
Of course.
Absolutely. Now, what makes your team so amazing? Why are you guys so good?
Currently, our shortest guy is 6'6", so we're athletic and long, and we're all versatile. You need the ideal is having a LeBron at every position. Obviously, we're not comparing ourselves to LeBron, but our shortest guy is 6'6", and he's mobile, so he's like a guard.
So, height of 6'6", who's got the shortest wingspan?
Probably me. I think our longest wingspan is 7'2" by Jelaine Price.
Wow. Now that's, you talk about being versatile, being able to fill in every spot. Does that make it easier offensively or defensively for your team?
I would say both. Everyone can handle the ball, shoot it, pass it, and then defensively we can switch every ball screen so there's no mismatch.
And there's no spots on the floor where you get 4 points or 5 points. Is there a 3-point line and then you're good to go inside the 3?
Yeah, it's 2s and 1s. So the
2s and 1s. Okay.
Yeah, the Ice Cube League has this long shot, but 2s and 1s negate bigs just dominating the game with pounding it inside.
Okay, so what type of attack mode? When you guys go into beast mode, attack mode, what are you looking to take advantage of from the other team?
Defensively, we amp up our rotation, so we overpressure the ball, and because we're quick and athletic, we cover and overhelp, and then the offense is sporadic for them. Offensively, we get as many screens as possible to put the defense in unfortunate positions and then go at the mismatch.
So this is a Manitoba, what is the name? Acceleration Performance Team Manitoba?
Winnipeg Acceleration Performance.
Winnipeg Acceleration Performance. Edmonton. How many games are you planning on playing this weekend to go all the way?
Minimum on day 1 would be 4 games. Day 2 would be a maximum of 3 if you make it to the finals.
So is it a 2 games, 2 loss, you're out, or is it a round robin format?
Yeah, round robin day 1. You need to come top 2 in your pool, and then next day is just elimination.
So you're either in, you're out.
Yeah, and it's in West Ed Mall, so definitely good foot traffic.
Absolutely, that's kind of cool. Are they playing that right in the middle of West Edmonton Mall, or
Ice Palace? So they put whatever the plastic or I don't know covering they have, and then they put a sport court on top of it, so everyone can walk by and watch.
Have you played there before? It
Yes,
seems like you know
last
what's
year.
going on over there. Okay, so
yeah.
how impressive is? I mean, how many courts are set up on the ice floor? Then is it 4 different courts, or
No, there's just one main court,
Okay.
and then off to the side is one hoop just for practicing, getting your reps up. But the focus is that one court. You don't want the attention drawn anywhere else.
Wow, that's pretty impressive. 10-minute games, 4 of them the first day.
Yep.
So it's like a full game, basically, right? 40-minute game.
Oh, yeah.
Wow. What's the key to being prepared for Game 2 and then Game 3 and Game 4? Talk about endurance. Talk about hydration, nutrition in between games.
That's very tough because your rest time could be an hour, and if you're in a qualifying draw, it could be 20 minutes. So I tend not to eat because I do intermittent fasting. That way my stomach isn't feeling anything and I feel more energized. But if you're going to have anything, you want to keep it small, like fruits and vegetables, maybe some candies, and hydrate. Like
Hydrate's key, yeah, absolutely. Especially, we don't know what the weather or the humidity in that building is going to be, right? And you play a game at 10 a.m. or a game at 6 p.m., your conditions definitely change, right?
Yeah, I'd rather the mall than when I was in Mexico City when I had heat stroke outside. So.
Oh, my God. Tell us a little about how to prepare for that. I mean, that's altitude is 1,
Yeah.
heat and humidity is 2, and 3, coming from Winnipeg, I mean,
That was tough because they didn't have a tarp, and sometimes they do. So the sun's beaming down on you. So what you do is once your game's over, you immediately go for cover. I tend to have a towel on my head when I'm on the bench. Stay hydrated, stay out of the sun, and have sunblock.
how many people are involved with the Acceleration Performance group here in Winnipeg?
In the sense of teammates or just
The overall, the gym.
The gym has pretty much the most pro athletes in the city for basketball for sure. I don't know about the other sports. I've seen players from the CFL in there. I've seen hockey, NHL players. But I know that the pro basketball community, you've had a couple of them on, like Keith O'Mara.
Yeah.
The best of the best basketball players have been in that building.
Okay. So where is that building located?
Their main area that's run by Sherwin is off of Provence, down in St. B. Another one's in Charleswood, which is close to the Roblin Bridge.
Okay, so a little bit of distance between the two of them, but covers a good geography of Winnipeg. Wyatt, I want to thank you for joining us. Good luck this weekend. Bring back some cash and a little bit of fun, a little bit of hardware, perhaps.
That's what I'm hoping for Winnipeg.
And then maybe China, right?
I want to go to China.
How cool would that be?
Well, we're already booked our ticket to Korea, so now we want China. We want to complete that circuit.
I want to talk quickly about that. How did we book our trip to Korea already?
We were invited to Edmonton this past weekend for a satellite. So top team, so number 1 team, which we were, gets a free trip and accommodations to a challenger in Korea, which has maybe 4 of the top 20 teams in there. But it's another challenger opportunity like this Edmonton just across the world.
That's fantastic. Great way to see the rest of the world, right? Playing basketball. Something you love.
That's the way to go.
Wyatt Anders with the Winnipeg Acceleration Performance team.
You nailed it.
Heading to Edmonton with 3 other members. Like I said, good luck. And you know what? Love to hear how the story goes this next weekend for you, Wyatt. We'll be right back after a commercial break here on the ASTV Sports Show.
Want a career in the salon industry but have no experience? Aveda Institute's program is designed to provide aspiring stylists with the solid technical foundations and business tools to achieve your success. With our in-house store and salon, knowledgeable educators, 95% placement, and our 9-month course, we will have you prepared for the demands of the industry. Now accepting applications for our January class, Aveda Institute Winnipeg, Hair School, the way it should be. See us today.
The 4 Points by Sheraton, Winnipeg South. Conveniently located on South Pembina Highway near the Trans-Canada Bypass and 1 hour from the U.S. border crossing. Offering a saltwater pool, hot tub, 24-hour fitness center, restaurant, and lounge.
Hi, I'm Eddie Weiss from Metalmaster. You had an accident? Sometimes they're embarrassing, but they're always inconvenient. We have an incredible staff to take care of you. We have platinum certified techs in 4 different categories. We are certified as a gold class accredited shop. If you've made a claim already, perfect. Call us with your claim number. If you need a claim opened, give us a call. We'll walk you through it. Sometimes you can get a little nervous dealing with MPI. We'll help you out. From Metalmaster Auto Body, we'll straighten it out.
The 4 Points by Sheraton, Winnipeg South. Conveniently located on South Pembina Highway near the Trans-Canada Bypass and 1 hour from the U.S. border crossing. Offering a saltwater pool, hot tub, 24-hour fitness center, restaurant, and lounge.
Eat.
Meet.
Stay.
Canad Inns destination centers are your home for hospitality, with 10 locations in Manitoba and 1 in North Dakota, featuring the finest in accommodations, food and beverage, entertainment, banquet and conference facilities, and so much more. For the best service and best value, your only stop is Canad Inns. Call today at 1-888-33-CANAD or visit us right now at canadinns.com.
Welcome back to the ASTV Sports Show. And if you've been under a rock this past weekend, you may have forgotten that the Winnipeg Ice and the Brandon Wheatkings have begun their rivalry of the Eastern Division of this Western Hockey League's 2019-2020 season. Both teams had a back-to-back Friday and Saturday night, starting in Brandon, where the visiting team, the Winnipeg Ice, got to a quick 3-0 lead and held on to it, holding off 3-2 against Brandon. The shots on goal were the key there, where the Ice had 45 compared to the 26 of Brandon. McLennan, Johnson, and Michael Tepley scoring the game winner for the Winnipeg Ice in Brandon. And it just wasn't enough. They decided to do it all over again, this time inside Wayne Fleming Arena here in Winnipeg at the University of Manitoba. And it was the Brandon Wheatkings this time getting ahead in both the first and the second period, scoring within the first 2 minutes of each of those periods. Luca Burzan scoring the tying goal and eventually the game-winning goal, giving the Brandon Wheatkings the 4-2 win on the home turf of the Winnipeg Ice. The shots on goal for that one instead were in favor of Brandon, 39-35. We had a chance to catch up with 3 players. First star Luca Burzan with the 2 goals. Nolan Ritchie, a good friend of the show, who's come up all the way through Brandon and the AAA ranks, now playing for the WHL Wheatkings. And a good buddy of ours who has traded his golf sticks in for his hockey sticks, scoring a goal in the first game with Zack Witinck. And here are those interviews. Theo here with Amateur Sports TV after a 4-2 win for the Brandon Wheatkings. Joining me, Luca Burzan. The second goal as well as the game winner. Luca, how did tonight's game go for you?
I thought it went really well. I think we showed up today and played for 60 minutes and we worked hard throughout the game. Obviously we killed a lot of penalties and I think we got momentum off that, and I really like the way our guys played today.
You definitely led in the goal department tonight. Let's go through the second and the third goal for you.
I just obviously I'm known to score dirty goals, and first one was kind of lucky. He saved and it just kind of jumped over his pad and trickled in. Second one, a great pass from my teammate McCartney, and I just was fortunate enough to put it in.
Yeah, the second one was a lot easier, 2-0, almost a 3-0 with 3 Wheatkings coming in. Lastly, what was the main difference between yesterday's game in your hometown, now here in Winnipeg? How did you guys know that you had to come out differently, knowing you had to, rebound from last night's loss?
Yeah, I think today, I think our effort was a lot better. I think yesterday our effort wasn't there, and we weren't moving our feet, and we were playing lazy and trying to do other people's jobs. I think today we just played a simple game, and I think we outworked them and took it to them.
Coach Lowry must have suggested to come out early in the first and the second, as you did, compared to last night's game. Falling behind, you guys took the lead into the third, and you held on to it.
Yeah, you know what? It's hard to come back from 3-0 like we did yesterday, and yesterday we got the 2 goals, but couldn't make the comeback. You know, that's hard to do. I think today it was important that we got a good start and got the first goal, and I'm really happy with how the guys played, and hopefully we can carry on this momentum.
Luca, thanks so much for your time. Congratulations with the win, and good luck for the rest of the season.
Thank you very much.
Luca, Burzan with me, Theo, ASTV. We'll be right back. Theo here, Amateur Sports TV. Joining me, Nolan, Ritchie. How was today's game for you compared to last night?
I mean, it was a much better effort today by the team. Last night we didn't have much of a great start, and today we kind of just started well and we finished well, so it was a great 60 minutes by the team today.
Your team definitely came out a lot better in the beginning of the first and the second period. I saw you on the power play as well. What is it about your hard work mentality as well as your skillful hands that Coach Lowry likes best of it?
I just try to put in my best work every day, and I think I've been doing that really well so far, and I just got to keep on doing that.
So making the jump into the Brandon Witinck, now you're playing midgets, now into the dub. What has been the hardest thing for you to get a hold of?
I think just playing quicker. Everyone's faster up here, stronger. So just adjusting to the speed of the game and making the plays quicker. I think those are the biggest things.
Are you looking forward to the rivalry of having Brandon and Winnipeg both in the East Division? Do you think it's going to get heated just like it did in the last couple seconds of that game?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, right there, it was second game of the year. Even the first game of the year, it was a little scrappy too. So, I mean, it'll probably keep on being like that for the eight other games to play against them.
Exactly. 8 other games you got to play against Winnipeg. What do you look forward to for the rest of the season for you, Nolan?
I think just competing, playing in the league. It's a great league to play in, and just with the Brandon Witinck, a great organization, great teammates here, and I think it should be a great year.
Awesome. Nolan Ritchie joining me from the Brandon Witinck, winning 4-2 here at Wayne Fleming Arena. Great job tonight.
Thank you very much.
This is Theo with ASTV. Theo here. Joining me is Zack Witinck. On the defense side of things, Zack, a much better, stronger game by the team. What was the message in the locker room for tonight's game?
Yeah, I think we were disappointed with last night. I think we felt we got outworked at home, which, for our group is unacceptable. That's been, the statement early for us. So, we wanted to come in here and be a lot better and bring our best effort, and I think we did that tonight for a full 60 minutes. The
full 60 minutes was key, and as mentioned, your forwards definitely took care of the goals at the beginning of the periods of the first and second. How were you able to maintain the strong defensive play in the third when Winnipeg was trying to come in and get that third goal?
Yeah, I think it was just a good team effort. I think we had 5 guys on the same page on the ice. I think, we're all working together, and once again, I think we brought some good compete and some good work ethic, and we won a lot of battles, and it translated to some success tonight.
You saw some work on the power play and on the penalty kill as well. What part of your game worked best for you tonight, Zack?
Yeah, I think I tried to make some plays in the offensive zone. I think for me, I want it to be better than I was tonight on the power play, but that's the way it goes sometimes. It's early in the year. We're still trying to sort some things out and get some rust out in those kind of special teams areas. So hopefully it goes uphill from here.
Absolutely. So tell me what's the difference between playing a preseason game and now getting this first weekend out of the hair for you.
Yeah, well, it's a pretty emotional weekend, right? Both teams have home openers, so I think the intensity and the urgency goes way up for these games compared to preseason. It counts now. These are points that are, in the long run really important. So guys know what we're playing for, and it was a lot of fun this weekend.
Are you looking forward to this rivalry of Brandon, Winnipeg, East Division, and looking forward to the next 8 games you get to play against them? Certainly heated at the end of the third there.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to play these guys, obviously, like you said, 8 more times. So it's only going to get better from here, I think. It's nice to only drive a couple hours down the road and play a game, and the first 2 games have been really fun. So looking forward to the next couple for sure.
So Zach, on a personal note, have you been able to trade in the golf clubs for the hockey sticks, or are you still golfing fairly well?
Trying my best. The game's definitely slipping a little bit, but way it goes, I'll trade it for hopefully some more success on the ice with the boys.
Hitting bombs on the golf course, hitting drives, but more importantly, using the body well tonight. Zack Witinck from the Brandon Witinck, winning 4-2. Thanks for joining us, Zack.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Theo with ASTV. We'll be right back. We're back here in Tavern United, Pembina, Canad Inns Destination Center. Beautiful Pembina Highway, nice and sunny outside. My guest was enjoying a little more sun before he showed up. Better late than never. Dave Johnson. As a matter of fact, he was sparring because he's got an event getting ready for this Friday. We'll get to in a second. Dave, good evening. Thanks for joining us here on ASTV Sports Show. How you doing?
Thank you so much. I'm feeling good. I got punched in the face a couple times, but that's the game.
Speaking of getting punched in the face, do you believe in that whole Mike Tyson motto? Everyone has a plan until you get hit by that first punch?
It's certainly correct, right? But if you don't have plan B, C, D, all that kind of stuff planned, right? Then you shouldn't be in boxing, right? You can't just be a one-dimensional puncher.
And as Iron Mike found out in '91, if you don't bring the metal slab to take down the iPods, chances are you're going to lose to Buster Douglas, right?
Yeah, well, I hear there's other details.
There's other confusion on that one. There was a 12 count on Buster the round before that.
I think he was out for the count the night before.
Maybe that too. Tokyo can do that too. Anyway, let's get back to the event that happened at the Met.
Yeah.
A couple weekends ago. Melee 7 at the Met.
Yeah.
As well as UBC 2.
Yeah.
Where do you want to start? Which one do you want to hit up first? Let's hit up the Melee first.
Hit up the Melee. That's the Thursday event, but that's really our gala. So we get the black, some people in black tie, but mostly formal wear, because we sell tickets around the ring. So a lot of construction companies. We have a great partner, M Builds, which used to be Manshield Construction. Yep. So yeah, the guys they're always pumped for the fights, and we had some really good ones. It
was a pretty well visited card.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of fights on that card.
Yeah. So we had 12, 13. Half of them were our corporate challenge.
We'll get to those in a second.
Novice people, and then we had the international fights. So, it was top level. Team Philippines brought the heat. Team Canada, like for a young team, they were super tough. They won some belts. Team Philippines took home some belts. So I think everyone was happy.
So some people got hit in the mouth. Some people had a couple of nose dungles.
There was one fight where both the guys got cut.
Wow.
So they don't wear the headgear.
Okay.
And there is a little bit more of a risk of cuts happening with no headgear, but it's also actually decreases the risk of concussion without having the larger surface area to get hit and rocked. So unfortunately we lost that fight for the Sunday because they rematched.
Right.
But both those fighters, that was a really great fight.
So the fights on Thursday had their rematches on the Sunday.
Yeah. Just the international
bouts. So if you missed them on the Thursday, you got to see them on the Sunday with a bit of revenge or avenge.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the corporate battles. I mean, this is kind of like Smash Mouth, like just going at each other. Pretty novice boxes from what I've been told, but still getting some aggression out on an opponent.
Totally. So we trained them for 3 months not to just go out and do the Bart Simpson, if you get hit,
I'm going to swing my hands like this, and if I hit you, it's not my fault. That one?
Exactly. So we didn't see any of that this year. But yeah, we have the sparring, right, for the last month leading up to it. Okay. And I think the guys everyone holds back a little bit. They don't want to show their full hand. Gotcha. But there's some good fights in our gym just in the sparring. But then, it really comes when you're in front of 400 or 500 people. You get the spotlight put on you. You get the pump up music. There was some good fights.
So I'm going to ask you this because I haven't really been inside a ring in very long, and I don't remember the temperature change when you go from sparring to having the hot lights on you.
Yeah.
Is there a big difference in that short of time? I mean, or you just say, forget it, I'm just going to box?
Totally. You're coming from a warm-up room, which is full of 30 other athletes, so you're so hot. So, sometimes you actually get cold waiting in the ring. So amateur boxing, there's not the big hubbub and stuff like that. So you get into the ring, you talk to the ref for a second, then we're going for it.
So it was Olympic style?
Yep.
3 rounds?
3 rounds, 3 minutes for the international.
And then for the corporates it was? How much time do we give them? Let's put it that way.
We give them a minute.
Giving them a minute.
Most of them a minute or 3 rounds for 1 minute. Some of the more technical ones we gave 1.5.
Okay.
Right? We had a couple main events on the corporate challenge side. So Luke Chaput of Amjack Industries, he had raised way more money than everyone else for Variety Manitoba. So you know what, if we need you to be a good fighter, but if you're raising that much money and bringing so much to awareness to our event, we're putting you on the main event. And he won the belt. I was actually in his corner. He was pumped. He was awesome.
Was he more of like a stick and move, or float like a butterfly, hit like a bee?
He was one of those guys that held some power back, and he was going for it.
Nice.
He was jacked. He was jacked up. It was great. The guy that he had a bout against, James Craig from Bison Transport. You know what? He also threw down. He rocked Luke with some good shots, so it was a good bout.
Any knockouts in the corporate rounds?
We hope not to have any knockouts.
Good, okay.
That's
we're not condoning the knockouts.
Exactly, that's what we train them for. Amateurs, you don't see a ton. We've had one in the past, but we want it to be a good, clean, technical, respectful bout because it's for charity.
Absolutely. Variety was the charity chosen this year. Do we have a final number? How much was raised? Or are we still working on that?
It's over 35,000.
That's amazing news. Congratulations.
It was a really good number.
That's fantastic.
We're still working on a couple things, and there's still donations trickling in. We actually had a live auction that night. Okay. So Odessa Auctions came in, and they did the whole, auctioneer thing. Yeah. Where you at, and people could choose from different levels of how much they wanted to support, and they literally had, if you support $100, that's crutches for a child that needs help, walking, or 200, it's braces for a month. Yep. And our crowd was awesome. People were getting into it, and it was nice. We raised a lot of money.
Let's talk about the UBC for a second here, because it's just off Scott Street if you haven't been there, a 2,200 square foot facility. Yeah. The main ingredient to this gym is the coaches and the fact that it's a volunteer-based program. Yep. Explain why and how you're able to maintain such a high level of coaching for all of its participants.
So, great question. It's really a pay-it-forward system. We're a nonprofit, and our president, who started the club, he was a national champ, I think 7 times. Ryan Savage was a national champ.
With a last name like Savage, you better be a national champion. Ryan, if you're listening, I'm just putting a word out there for you.
I know his son. He's gonna get after it. I'm pretty sure, Hunter.
Good.
But he really wanted to breed fighters that could compete at the national level, and then he also really encouraged them to keep coaching, even while they're training. Sometimes it's a distraction, but if you're doing 1 hour a week, you can give back and teach 20 people, right? Then we get 10 people that are gonna, really stick to boxing, 5 people that are going to think about competing, 3 people that will compete, and you're gonna get a strong coach out of that. Yeah. Right? So that's really how we're building our whole structure, right? So we've got the fundamentals where you can come, there's no chance of you getting hit in the face. All you're learning about is technical boxing from, one of the champions, right? Yeah. So, or someone trained by the champion. So we just had a coaching class over this last weekend. We had 6 out of the 8 people that were getting trained as new coaches.
Excellent.
So we really want to support Manitoba boxing because it's an association that we pay dues to, and we want it to be strong in Manitoba. And then we want to have these kind of opportunities for people at our club.
Absolutely. Yeah. And the foundations you guys have set up at UBC, I mean, they're easy, they're simple, and they're the 3 best fundamentals you can have in any sport. I mean, learning the sport, keeping in shape, and having fun. Yeah. If you can't do that for participants, then you know what? Then you got to fix your motto, right?
Totally. And you know what? We live by it. We always ask for feedback on Instagram or some all social media. So also, if you came to the Melee Gala, we want feedback about it. We're constantly wanting to figure out ways to have people learn boxing, have fun, and hit all their goals.
So we mentioned off air a little bit, how do we get the corporate challengers involved? How do we get those corporate groups involved with UBC? What do we need to do?
Yeah, so we had 4 great companies this year that had 4 spots, essentially, in the corporate challenge. So that was 16 participants to start with, right? So this year, we want to start early and find more people, more companies that are interested in doing this, right? It's an awesome team building event. It's an awesome way to raise money in the community and awareness. And then, you get to really put your company up against other companies. So actually, I want to see some heat this year, right? I want to see like 2 automotive companies and maybe fighting, maybe, I don't know, Canad Inns, maybe tavern against tavern.
So you're saying to me that these corporate spots are filled by the employees of this business?
Yeah.
So you're seeing a battle of the bars, battle of the construction guys, battle of the automotive industry, you name it.
Yeah.
You could have divisions amongst divisions.
Well,
this could get serious stuff in here.
Yeah.
Like this could be bragging rights.
Yes, totally. Right?
Melee 8 happens when?
Hey, there.
Are we too soon? Are we too soon?
No. We just booked the Met again.
Okay.
For September 10th, 2020.
So we're looking for corporate challengers.
Yeah.
How do you get involved with that? Simple. Get involved with UBC, right?
Talk to your business. Talk to your company. If you have a few spots that you want to fill, we can always fill the rest of the team with other participants that want to do it. But if you have a couple people that want to get in shape, have fun, learn to box, we're the place to be.
You know what? And if you can do that and hold bragging rights and hold the belt, the title, if you will, for this year. I heard they're pretty nice belts. I haven't seen one.
They're class. Like it's a beautiful belt. It's everyone feels like a champ.
Awesome.
When they got the belt around their neck.
Nothing better than putting a belt around your waist.
I know,
Aaron Rodgers does it a lot. Some guys did it a couple weeks ago at the Met. That was fantastic to see.
Check the Instagram, check the Facebook. There's all kinds of photos of it.
Instagram is
United Boxing WPG. Yeah.
And then Facebook is just
United Boxing Club Incorporated.
Okay, so there you have it. There's your social feeds for the UBC. Dave Johnson, what do we got? You got a fight this weekend.
Yeah, I'm going down to Minnesota.
Okay. Do you know who you're fighting? Doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't matter.
Just like The Rock says.
250 pounds, I don't know.
No, as long as no Butterbean, right? If you fought a Butterbean, what would you do?
Stay away from the big right hand.
Yep.
That'd be an honor, fight Butterbean.
That'd be interesting, eh?
Yeah.
Awesome. Totally. Well, good luck in Minnesota. I'm sure we'll hear about the fight.
Our competitive team's really ramping up right now.
Good.
We're planning on traveling a ton across Canada this year, so this is the time to start fundamentals at United, and in a year you can be traveling with us.
Fantastic news. Dave Johnson again with United Boxing here in Winnipeg off Scott Street, correct? We'll be right back to close out the show here on the ASTV Sports Show right after this.
Eat.
Meet.
Stay.
Canad Inns Destination Centers are your home for hospitality, with 10 locations in Manitoba and 1 in North Dakota, featuring the finest in accommodations, food and beverage, entertainment, banquet and conference facilities, and so much more. For the best service and best value, your only stop is Canad Inns. Call today at 1-888-33-CANAD or visit us right now at canadinns.com.
That was Dave Johnson with the United Boxing Club here in Winnipeg. And quite a show we had. We had Eugene Kaminski from the Ice AAA Female. We had Team Zacharias, the curlers. And we had some wonderful discussions as well throughout all of our amateur sports here in Winnipeg, just to name a few. What's coming up on the schedule? Well, it's almost the halfway, two-thirds way point through September. I'll be putting my traveling shoes on and heading to Pilot Mountain, Manitoba, as we showcase the varsity female team and their showcase this upcoming weekend in Pilot Mountain. Should be some great hockey. We also have the ASTV Sports Show going on the road in October. We'll be in Portage la Prairie for a couple of weeks there. We also have our boy Donnie doing the Where Are They Now scene, which involves a storyline of a previous Manitoba player and where they're playing or what they're doing with lives after leaving Manitoba, or what they're doing with life within their professional sport these days. We've also started up our brand new show On the Ice, which is involving the 50 below umbrella of the RHA, the Winnipeg Ice WHL team, and the Winnipeg Blues, the Manitoba Junior Hockey League squad. And of course, we always have and love the feedback you give us here on our Facebook Live, our Twitter, and our YouTube accounts. Thank you so much for joining us, and look forward to one more thing. We're going to start up our tailgating with yours truly. That's right, tailgating with Theo, and we're going to have some smokies on the barbie, potentially some drinks in the cooler, and I'm going to sit on a tailgate, talk about some what's going on sports, and dive into a little bit more of a deeper thought into it. Not just scratching the surface, but asking and answering the questions you may not want to hear about, but also dig into them to make sure that we cover all our bases. This is Theo from Tavern United here on Pembina Highway, Canad Inns destination. Thank you very much for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you or hearing from you in the near future. Again, Theo with Amateur Sports TV, bringing more goodness to the greatness. Have a great day.